Hey, Kevin here from DIYDork.com. Today I'm going to show you how I made a really simple wire stripper using a couple of parts I had laying around the house, and there's no special tools or anything like that. It actually works great, so check this out. It's pretty cool. Alright, so this wire stripper I'm going to show you how to make is really simple. I just have a little piece of leftover 1x2 right here. It's going to be the base for it. And then I'm going to use some razor blades. I'm going to use two, so I have two different sizes. And then some sheet metal screws. These are number 10 by 1/2 inch, but whatever you have will work. And then I have two different sizes of drill bits. And I just based those so that they're a little bit bigger than the size of the wire I plan to strip. Basically what I have is a bunch of leftover wire. I had a whole bunch of old AC adapters that I cut the wire free from them, and then I have some leftover wiring from when we redid our house. I think this is 10 gauge. So I'm going to make two strippers on this piece of wood so that I can strip both just fine. Alright, first step's real simple. I'm just taking my razor blade and I'm clamping it down onto a little drill block here onto my table so that it won't move. And then I've taken my bigger drill bit that just happens to be a little bit bigger than these screws. I'm going to drill two holes in there so I can screw it down to the wood later. So let's do that real quick. Alright, and I'll do one to the other side, and when it's done, it'll look something like this. Now that my razor blades are drilled out, it's time to make the little channels in the wood. So that's what the two drill bits are for. Taking my smaller one, it's a little bit hokey, but it works. And all I'm doing is turning on the drill and then I'm laying it down on the wood so it kind of cuts into it to make a little channel. And you might have to kind of hold it in place, but it will work eventually. Alright, and basically what you want to do is make that channel deep enough so that when your wire lays in it, it'll basically, the top of the wire will just be flush to it. So that way when we put a razor blade in there, we'll be able to pull it through. So I'll finish this up and then I'll show you what they look like when they're deep enough. Alright, so I got my little channel dug out there, and you may notice when you do it that it leaves like some frayed edges, so you can take some sandpaper or sanding block and just kind of clean it out. And you know it's deep enough when you can set your wire in there and then take one of your razor blades, lay it on straight, and your wire can just move through there like that. Because what we're going to do is once we screw this down, we want to be able to push the wire through and then start getting it to cut. Alright, once your channels are good, set your razor blade on there, center it, and then screw it down tight. Alright, now we're ready to go. Now I'll show you how to actually use it. Alright, so let me show you how to use the stripper. It's actually fairly simple. I'm going to do the 10 gauge wire first. Like I said, when it goes in, it should be just enough room that it can slide through so you can get it started. And then you kind of just lean it up against the blade so it starts cutting. It might take a little practice to kind of get a feel for how deep you need to go. Alright, and you'll see that the wire starts to get exposed here. And then you just start pulling it through. And just kind of using both hands to make sure it'll strip okay. And then also, I mean, it's pretty obvious, but I have it clamped down to the table so it don't move on you. Alright, here we go. Just pull it through like that. And then, once you got it through, then you just want to take your fingers and kind of dig out the wire and pull it out. And this is a little harder than the actually using the stripper, but it's a lot easier than sitting there trying to use a pocket knife or a pair of little handheld wire strippers and trying to get it going. There we go. Alright, and it just pulls right off. So just that little strip to open it up, and there you go. And then this last piece, you know, you can just pull it off like regular strippers, or you could run it through here again. This time run the bare wire through, and then just get that one cut. Same thing, and then just start pulling it off as well. There we go. Nice and clean. Now let me show you the smaller one. It's a little trickier, so you got to kind of learn the pressure, but it's just about as easy. Alright, now this thinner gauge wire that I got from my AC adapter, it pretty much works the same way, but it's a little trickier because it's actually made of a whole bunch of really small strands instead of solid wire. Let me show you real quick. Here's a solid wire, and here's what the inside of that looks like. So you can see that your blade could easily cut these wires. So you just got to learn to figure out the pressure just right. So pretty much the same thing. Just poke it through so that you can push it through there. And then what I like to do is go ahead and hold pretty firm with this hand right here and kind of pull it towards the edge. And then you just got to figure out the right pressure to get that to cut without cutting that little thin wire in there. All right. And I got the sweet spot already here, but it takes a little practice. There we go. You can see there how I cut a little too much. Just figure out your sweet spot, and then what I'll go ahead and do is I'll just cut it, and I'll show you that it peels out just about the same. Dig all that wiring out. And it pokes your finger and doesn't feel too good, but there we go. Pretty much just as simple. Of course, I didn't. Same thing with the end here. You can just peel it off or strip it off or run it through there. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's the thinner wire here. So a whole bunch of strands, but it comes out just about as easy. It just takes a little more practice to figure out the right pressure so that you don't just cut the wire right in half, because this is so small. It'll cut easily. There you go. Really simple design, and I hope it works great for you because it worked great for me.